Mike Westfall here with McDonald Garden Center, and today I'm going to tell you about how to plug your lawn for a summer lawn. So in this area in Hampton Roads, we're a transition area, and what that means is you can grow lots of different types of grasses here in Hampton Roads. But a lot of people really love a summer lawn, which is St. Augustine or Zoysia. There's also Bermuda and Centipede. However, today I'm going to exclusively talk about plugging your lawn. And what that means is actually putting a plant, a lawn plug, and you can see right here, a plug is a 3-inch by 3-inch square, and it's just a piece of sod basically. But what's great about these grasses is they spread and they'll take over your lawn. And so it's a really easy grass to grow. It's very low maintenance, and that's what a lot of people want here in the Hampton Roads area, is a low maintenance lawn. And so fescue is a great grass that is evergreen year round. But with these grasses, St. Augustine and Zoysia, you actually get kind of a dormant period as well. So you get about a 4 or 5 month period where these grasses aren't going to grow very much, which is great. You don't have to mow much during those months. But they're very low maintenance. They don't require a lot of fertilizer. They can also take salt spray or even salt flooding. So they're very versatile grasses, and they grow in the summer months, which is really when we are outside enjoying your lawn anyways. And so what I'm gonna do is kind of talk about these two specific types of grasses and kind of give you a little bit of information on how to fertilize, maintain, prevent weeds, and also how many you need. That's the most important thing, is how many plugs you might need to fill in your lawn. So first, let's talk about St. Augustine. St. Augustine is probably one of the most popular grasses here in the Hampton Roads area. It's a very easy grass to grow. It can actually take sun all the way to moderate shade, so it can grow very well in a little bit of a shady location as well. It's a really pretty grass. It's a dark green grass. It's a thick blade, and so typically it's gonna grow more outward than upward, which is great. It's gonna spread, and that's what's so cool about these summer grasses, is they're gonna spread. A fescue lawn is individual plants, so every time we lose a section, let's say the dog digs up a section, whatever might happen, you're gonna have to reseed it. With St. Augustine or Zoysia, they'll fill back in. So St. Augustine is a great grass. It's very aggressive growing as well, so you can plant these plugs 12 to 18 inches apart, and they'll fill in your lawn pretty quickly. Now, Zoysia is another type of summer lawn that we grow here in the Hampton Roads area. It's a really pretty grass as well. You can see it's a really nice dark green. It actually emulates probably fescue the most. It's a very, very tough, durable grass. It fills in a very thick carpet kind of feel. So when you walk on a Zoysia lawn, it's a really nice, enjoyable experience. Zoysia will take a little bit longer to fill in. It's not quite as aggressive as St. Augustine. So I always tell people, be a little bit patient with Zoysia. We also do carry Zoysia Seed, so you can grow Zoysia from seed. That's another thing, is St. Augustine you can only do from plugs. So whenever you're looking at doing a St. Augustine lawn, it's the best way to go is with plugs. With Zoysia, you can seed or you can use plugs. Plugs give you a little bit more instant gratification. Zoysia can also take a little bit of shade, so you can grow these in full sun all the way to shade as well. They're very, very pretty grass. Probably one of my favorite of the summer grasses is the Zoysia. It's just one that I always tell people to be patient with, because it does take a little bit longer to grow. Okay, so now what I want to do is tell you how to figure out how many plugs you're going to need. And so there's a mathematical formula here that's pretty easy to follow. So follow along with me here. So the first thing you're going to do is measure your length and the width of your yard. Doesn't have to be 100% accurate. You want to get as close as you possibly can. So let's just say, for an easy formula, it's a 30 by 30 area. So 30 times 30 is going to be about 900 square feet. So what you're going to do with that square footage is you're going to divide it by either 2.25 or 1.65. 2.25 is if we're doing 18-inch spacing. So if we're spacing our plugs 18 inches apart, then you want to divide by 2.25. So with 900 square feet and we divide by 2.25, you're gonna get 400 plugs. And then you're gonna say, well, that's a lot of plugs. So 400 plugs, that's a lot. What do I do next? You need to divide by 18. So our trays of St. Augustine or Zoysia plugs come with 18 plugs per tray. So we divide by 18 to figure out how many plugs we're gonna need. In this case, we're gonna need 22.22 trays, which then I always say round up a little bit. So go up to 23 trays. It's always nice to have a little bit of extra. Now, if we take that same formula, a 30 by 30 square foot area, so we're gonna take that, that's gonna be 900 square feet. Then you're gonna divide by 1.65 if you want 12-inch spacing, which is really what we recommend, is a 12-inch spacing, because you're gonna get a fuller lawn much quicker. So that's kind of what we typically are gonna recommend, is divide by 1.65. You're gonna get 545 plugs. Now you divide that by 18 to figure out how many trays you get. You get 30.3 trays. I'd get 31 trays, have a little bit of extra. Now, if you've got round areas, if you've got circular areas, if you've got shaped beds and stuff like that, always overestimate a little bit in your length and your width. That'll make sure that you have enough. Once you figure out how many trays you want, then you can go ahead and order them. Here at McDonald Garden Center, we carry these very, very high-end plugs. One good thing is St. Augustine is palmetto, so it's a really, really nice type of St. Augustine, and our Zoysia is Empire Zoysia. Our seed is Zenith Zoysia. Both of them are very, very comparable. They're very similar, but palmetto is one of the best St. Augustine varieties that you can get for this area. It's got the most cold tolerance, so if you're worried about winter temperatures, you don't have to worry about it with this. And Zoysia as well, the Zenith and the Empire Zoysias are very, very high-end types of Zoysia. So we got really, really good grass. Okay, so now that we've figured out how many trays we need, and you order them here at McDonald Garden Center, and you can come pick them up as soon as they arrive, then what you want to do is you're going to plant them. So that's the next thing, is getting your yard ready to plant them. What I do recommend is starting somewhat from scratch. So if you've got a lot of weeds, if you've got a lot of other things growing in your yard, I do recommend taking that vegetation off. You can either mow it very low. We can sell you a weed killer or a total killer that will kill all the vegetation in that area. It's a one-time thing. You can do it one time and then you're ready to plug. You can also just plug this right into your existing lawn. These are aggressive grasses, they're gonna take over. But what I always tell people is it's gonna take a little bit longer if you're plugging this in with some other competing grasses. So I do recommend starting from scratch, but we can work with you on a one-on-one basis if you need help with that. All right, so now you've got your trays, you go to plug them. Now this is where the hard work comes in, but it's fun, it's easy, it's enjoyable. I definitely recommend watering down your soil at first. It helps to make it easier to dig in so you can get your plugs in very easily. But we also have this great helpful tool, and this is a sod plugger. So this is made by Yard Butler. It's a really, really nice high-end tool, very durable. But basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna push this into the ground, and it's got these little claw teeth down here on the bottom. You're gonna push this down into the ground, step on it, and it's gonna pop up. So you're gonna get this little plug that's gonna pop up. And then all you do is just pop it out, you pop out your dirt, and guess what? This is a 3 by 3 inch square, which fits your plug perfectly. So that takes a lot of the work out of it for you, makes it a lot easier on your back, and you get a perfect square hole that you can put your plug right into. Now what you can also do is top dress with compost. We can put down a thin layer of compost if we need to, if we feel like our dirt needs to be amended a little bit. But really what you want to do is in each hole, you want to put down a new lawn starter or a Spoma Biotone Starter fertilizer, or even a root stimulator. We've got 3 great options, whether you want to do a granular or a liquid. This is a granular new lawn starter, and what this has more of is phosphorus, and phosphorus is going to get root systems developed and growing much faster. The Biotone Starter Plus is another option. This is an organic Biotone starter. So this is a starter fertilizer. It's got the higher phosphorus, but it's also got micronutrients, which are beneficial bacteria and different things that attach themselves to the roots and form a symbiotic relationship. And this is a great thing that you can put down. You can use this in conjunction with other types of fertilizers, but you can use it just as a standalone as well. So what you would do is put those little granulars down into the hole, put your plug on there, and you're done. If you wanted to, you could also use a root stimulator fertilizer. This is a liquid feed, and so this is gonna go in right when you plant them. You're gonna water all of your plugs with this. It's a very easy formula and easy to use, and been used for a long time. A very high phosphorus content as well. Again, gonna develop the root system. So now that we've got our plugs in place, you wanna plant these in a checkerboard pattern. So I forgot to mention that. You definitely wanna plant these in a checkerboard pattern to help fill out your lawn much faster. So don't put them in perfectly even rows. Definitely do a checkerboard pattern, 12-inch or 18-inch spacing. Now we've plugged our entire lawn. Now the most important thing is watering. Watering is very, very important to make sure that our lawn gets established. You're gonna wanna water for every day for about 2 weeks. And then we're gonna start to try and cut off our watering. Now, when you plant these, you want to, what I would recommend is planting them once our frost date is passed. So that's around April 15th. So usually I recommend May 1st. So we're gonna plant around May 1st. And what that means is temperatures are gonna start warming up. And as the temperatures begin to warm up, then we're gonna need to water a little bit more. So we're gonna water for the first 2 weeks every single day. The next 2 weeks, we're gonna cut back to every other day. And then we're gonna go to every third day to where we're watering once a week. And we wanna keep up that schedule pretty much all summer. Now, if we get rain, that's a watering, so you don't have to worry about it that day. Once your plugs are established, which usually happens in about 2 to 3 weeks after we do that initial watering. Then we can go through and feed it as an overall feed with our St. Augustine Weed and Feed. And this is a great fertilizer for St. Augustine. You can also use it on your Zoysia, but it's a great fertilizer because with St. Augustine, a lot of people know this, but it's a very, very good information to have, is St. Augustine can be a little bit picky about what we apply to it. And so if you ever have an established St. Augustine lawn, this is the one that you want to go with. It's got a pre-emergent quality in it as well, so it's also going to prevent any weeds from growing, but it also will kill any weeds that are actively growing. So what we want to do is we want to apply this generally over the top of the lawn. Once it's established, once it's ready to start growing, it's going to give it all the nutrients that it needs. It's also got a weed killing granular in there as well. If we need the weed killing granulars to work, it's very important to know that granulars don't naturally stick to the leaves of weeds. What you want to do is you want to mist down your lawn before you put down this fertilizer. And so it's very, very important to kind of mist it down so that those granulars actually stick to the weed leaves. And that way it'll burn that foliage off, kill it down to the root system, and you'll have a weed-free lawn. So we recommend this typically about 2 to 3 times in a season. So what you want to typically do is, let's say if we have an established St. Augustine lawn, so your next year, your second year, you're going to apply this about that May 1st time frame. Once our frost date is passed, once the grass is starting to green back up in May, you'll apply this in May, and then again in July, and then again in September. So we want to try and get in 2 to 3 feedings if we can. That's really going to help your lawn get very well established, keep it green, and keep it weed free. Now, there's also other weed killers that you can use out there. And again, we want to be specific to what these types of lawns are, because here in Hampton Roads, we've got lots of different types of grasses we can grow. In the early season, so in the winter months, we can use Weed Free Zone. Weed Free Zone is a great one because it works as long as the temperatures are above 45 degrees. So it's very easy to use. You can use a concentrate form. We also have it in a hose-in form. These are very simple, easy products to use. You want to do it in between mowings, so you can actually use this year round, but in the winter time, if you see some green stuff coming up and you know it's not your grass because it's the winter and our grasses aren't growing, our summer grasses aren't growing, we can use Weed Free Zone to prevent and kill those weeds. Then in the summer months, we want to use Atrazine. Atrazine is a weed killer that is safe for St. Augustine. It's a very effective weed killer. It actually helps kill crabgrass as well. It'll keep it basically kind of dormant and prevent it from growing much. And the more that we can kind of use that, the more we can kind of prevent the crabgrass issues from coming in. You can also use a straight pre-emergent or a straight classic lawn food. We've got lots and lots of different options for you, but this is really what we recommend for establishing a St. Augustine or Zoysia lawn. And it's important to kind of understand those calculations, that formula, so that you know how many plugs to get. And that's what we want to help you with here at McDonald Garden Center, is getting the right amount of plugs, getting the best type of grass to grow one of the best green lawns on the block. So come into McDonald Garden Center, check us out, order your plugs soon, and so that way you can start plugging your lawn for this summer season.